Hey everybody, Gary with Basecamp Trading. Let's take a look at how we can use multiple charts and multiple time frames to confirm or predict a trade. This is our 30-minute chart on the ES this afternoon, and as you can see, the ES all day respected the 200 EMA. The yellow line's the 50 EMA, this magenta line is the 200 EMA, and you can see every time the S&P came down there, the ES, it touched it, closed back above it, broke underneath it, closed back above it, broke underneath it again, closed back above it, again, came down, touched it, broke under it just a little, closed above it, under it again, closed above it, touched it, closed above it, and then finally broke through. So you can see that the 200 EMA on the 30-minute chart is obviously a significant EMA, as is the 50. You can see it respects the 50 as well. But we had some things that were suggesting that this was going to finally break in, head lower, probably into the close. For one thing, look what momentum is doing. Momentum was bearish. We actually had a one green finger right here on this bar, and then the ES started to head lower. Our histograms, again, were negative, one green finger, and then back to red again. Our lines, our fast and slow line, were making lower highs, lower lows, also suggesting that the ES was weak and wanted to go lower. And then we had two setups, really, and I combined them together. One of them was right here off of the 5-minute chart. And you can see right here towards the end of the day, the ES started to compress in a pennant. And this was getting tighter and tighter. But again, look at what momentum was doing. Momentum was very bearish and very weak. Even on this push up right here, momentum never even went back above the zero line. We kind of flattened out a little bit as it was compressing, and then it broke back to the downside again. So momentum was suggesting that our breakout of this pennant was also going to be to the downside, which is exactly what we got. We finally broke out of this pennant, headed lower. The breakout of this pennant actually was just a hair above the 200 EMA on the 30-minute chart, but again, suggesting that we were going to go lower. And exactly what happened, we broke down. You had a bear flag set up down here. It's actually quite a ways at this point. Pushed down. We actually had two downside targets, 28.38, which we got to no problem. And then our stretch was down at 28.30.5. Didn't get there. The low ended up being this bar right here at 32.5, or 32 even. So didn't quite hit the stretch down at 30.5. Did take out the initial target at 28.38. Actually hit that, made a bounce, and then broke under it and headed towards our stretch target. Again, didn't quite get there. But nice pennant breakout in the ES. Made a nice push to the downside. The Renko chart had a very similar setup and was a nice trade on the Renko chart. Right in here is where the compression was taking place. Right here on this wick off the 50 is where we were breaking out of that pennant. We had a slow line zero touch. The the 18's under the 34 EMA, 34 EMA under the 50 SMA, 50 SMA breaking under the smooth 50, price wicking off the smooth 50 and out of the cloud, and turning bearish on Trend Pro 2.0. So good confirmation here. Again, nice slow line zero touch. You can see that the slow line and NQ momentum pulled right up here to the zero line, giving us a nice momentum reset so that we had momentum strength to push our trade in the direction we wanted to go. The zero line is the line that the histograms move above and below. So we had a nice momentum reset. Again, plenty of room for momentum to accelerate our trade in the direction we want to go. We made the pennant breakout, broke underneath the 200 EMA on the 30-minute chart, made a nice push down, had this little pullback. Trend Pro 2.0 giving us an entry signal off of the Unirenko chart. That's that dark cyan bar is the Trender Pro 2.0 entry signal to re-enter the trade if you got out. I didn't. I was still in it because, again, had downside target down there at 28.30.5, and again 28.38 being the first target, and that's right there where we hit it. I mean, pretty much to the tick. I think the low of that bar was 28.37 3/4. So we tagged it within a tick, broke it by 1 tick was all, made the bounce, came right up here to the 18 EMA. We had a trail stop failure with a Trender Pro 2.0 entry signal again, and made the final push to the downside. So some nice confirmation off of multiple charts, suggesting the ES was going to go lower into the close, and caught a really nice trade right at the end of the day to the downside in the ES. Again, the entry was up there at 28.58. I took most of my position off at 28.38. So 20 ticks or 20 points, which is $1,000 per contract. Did hang on to the runner, grabbed a little bit more off of there. Did not get the 28.30.5 that we were after, but close enough. And all in all, led to a really nice end of the day trade in the ES.